Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I've got Maurizio from Kataklysm, the mighty Kataklysm, may I add. And how's it, man? How you doing? Thank you so much for your time.
Good.
Yeah,
Just finishing off my day today. I had another long day of press, and we're just promoting this new record as it begins to get its wings to get released soon. So yeah. So
Yep. And if I'm not mistaken, the 25th of September, if you look there.
Yeah,
25th of September, man. Freaking hell. Right. So,
yeah.
now that we know what you're not doing in Australia, let's take a quick moment, my friend. And going back about 35 years or so, who was the band or concert that you attended which had you like, fuck, this is what I'm gonna do one day?
The first concert that I saw that really pushed me over the edge to go out there and make this stuff. I already had a band because I got into metal. I think I was about 14 years old when I started listening to the heavier stuff. I was listening to all the cock rock before that, so the Guns N' Roses and all. But then I got into the heavy stuff later on. But I went to see Slayer and Testament play together. I went to see them. I think it was on the Seasons of the Abyss tour.
Oh,
I'm not mistaken. And then with what's it called? Testament was on the either Practice What You Preach or Souls of Black, something like that.
Okay.
Records, and it was on that tour that I saw that, and I was like, oh man, I gotta do this stuff. Like I gotta keep working hard at learning how to do everything. So
exactly.
Yeah, that was the one. So basically,
that is true. And you say you were 14 roundabout?
14. When I started getting into it, that concert I was probably 18 because I was already, probably with my fake IDs trying to drink beer or something.
Fake IDs for the win for some, hey.
Yeah.
You got a metal on. And speaking of fake IDs, brings me to my next question, Maurizio.
Right.
Metal as a form of rebellion, right? Does your new music still stem from it being rebellion? Or would you rather say that you take more inspiration from the current state, or not the current, but the state of our world and your surroundings?
I've always been a rebel at heart, and I think I've continued to be that. I come from a very different time. When I was born in a time when the internet didn't exist.
Yeah.
So basically, this is all kind of like a new reshaped world. If you're born, in after the 2000s, then you're part of a system that's completely different than what I was born in.
Yeah.
So basically, I think my rebellion stuff is a bit different than what's going on now. With everything. So I try to understand some of the things that are going on, but some of them I just don't get. So right. I just try to do my own thing. But I'm more focused on everyday life as far as like the social aspect of it, the mental state, and then stuff like that. Cataclysm is very, your experiences that you go through in life, and then how do you deal with that, So like it's a very, I put it in a very aggressive mode, but it's pretty much where I hit, and I think it stems from probably some personal stuff. I write my lyrics in a way where it does have a meaning for me, but it's an open book where people can adapt their own stories to it.
Right, and perceive it in their own
you'll
personal
read
way.
the lyrics, and for you, it'll mean something else.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's awesome, man. Great stuff. Right. So, let me ask you this: considering things have changed, and you coming from a different background, i.e., the internet and the way things go, do you feel that bands these days are doing enough to stay relevant and stand out, or be different from each other? I mean, Kataklysm was one of the first bands to be credited with using the blast beats, and that's a massive change in the history of metal, right? So do you think bands are doing enough to innovate and drive the music forward?
Well, it's becoming harder and harder because everything is kind of being done, like you got bands that like have explored every single corner there is as far as like, extreme music is concerned. But I think there's still forward thinking going on, there's still bands that are coming up with some brand new things, and, now there's all this orchestral stuff that got, immersed into metal, as far as like a lot of bands that I've put that stuff in there. And you know, I work with a lot of bands too in management. So I had like, you know, one of my bands is like Septic Flesh, and they did this entire orchestra concert with like 100 people, you know, in it on the stage with them. The only other band that did that before that big was Metallica. You know?
Yeah,
so
with
SMN,
S&M.
Yeah, S&M. Yeah. So there is some bands that are trying to push the limit of things. You know, I have another one that's called Killshot Apocalypse. They do also the same type of crazy,
wow, dude, out of this world.
Awesome band, right? So like, so we all, I think everybody pushes something a different, you know, position. You know, and it kind of all moves it forward in a different place now. You know, obviously there's things that change, and then like some 7-string guitars get implemented, and you know, which we've done on this record. You know, we switched the tones and modernized the sound, you know, of Kataklysm. So we all kind of like do our little thing. Like we got the hard beast that's back, and that beast.
We're gonna talk about that in a moment.
Yeah, that was always something that was part of the Kataklysm history, and we were always kind of advanced on that. But thing is like, it's hard for a band like Kataklysm because we have 14 records.
Yeah,
you know, it's hard to reinvent yourself without losing your foothold on what you've accomplished already. So we always try to move forward and change a few things, but stay relevant to what we've done, you know. So you know, for a lot of bands out there, it's all about social media now. There's nothing left. Magazines, nobody's buying a magazine and going through the paper every month, when they only have to click a button and it's right on the internet. Everything you can get. So I think that we have to adapt to the internet much more, and that's what's going on. It's a little bit harder for, let's say, bands like us, because we like I said, we come from a different time where we're in the cover of a magazine. That doesn't exist. So now you have to be like on the internet, showing your face, juggling balls, so people see you and they're like, hey, that's cool, you know. So it's like,
get those hits and likes. And
it's just, I'm not a social media guy. I don't like it. I find it very, it's making people become, how do you say it? Individualist.
Okay.
You know? It's all about me, you know, and it's like, and it's like becoming like that more and more. And it's like, look at me, you know, every 2 minutes. And it's like, I'm not that type with that. I'm very introverted. So for me, going in to do like all kinds of stuff like that, just to interact for the heck of interacting, to be relevant, it bothers me, because to me it was always about the music. It was always about the music, right? That's what needs to be connected with people, and now it's all about how much stuff you do online.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I would love to get off social media and the interwebs. I came back on social media to help me with my radio shows and get my radio station out there. And here we are today. So in some form it did help me. And this is completely off topic. However, next week from the 24th to 28th, I'm running a Southern African Metal Madness Week campaign, where I'm playing 5 shows, just Southern African metal, from Mozambique, South Africa. I'm waiting for some stuff from Zambia, Botswana. So I've got nothing from Lesotho, but the metal is here, man, and people need to hear it. So for that reason, I appreciate, if I can call it that, I appreciate social media, because Facebook, Instagram, I don't tweet, I don't tweet and those things. So
like on that angle, absolutely, because it connects everybody, right? And then your reach is way higher. I think that what I don't like is the other part, that people constantly want stuff from you. They want to know everything that's going on in your bedroom, you know, like whatever it is that's going on.
Selfies,
you know?
Tick.
Right. And it's like, it continues to get worse on that end. Like, it's just more and more, you know. And it used to be a bit different in the beginning, but I'm all about sharing music, sharing, you know, the reach to get as many people as possible to connect with what you do. That absolutely, it's a great tool. There's nothing like it, you know.
Yeah, no, great stuff, man. All right, moving along slowly. Right, so Unconquered was recorded at JFD Studios in Dallas, right? And that saw the return of the legendary Colin Richardson, right? Who you actually pulled out of retirement, if I'm not mistaken. Right, in aid of mixing Unconquered. Was that a challenging conversation to have with Colin? Do you feel that the Killshot is testament to what the rest of the album will have in store for us?
Well, you know, look, it's like when you get the chance to work with a guy like Colin Richardson, you're like you gotta like take it, right? Because
Yeah.
it's a great opportunity, and we're huge fans of everything he's done. So basically, we knew his assistant because he was retired doing the big metal bands, but he was been doing like still indie rock and some stuff like that.
Okay.
I think out of just pure boredom or whatever, he wanted to do some bands, and he's just like passing the time. But then he took on the Kataklysm project after he heard the demo tracks of the record, and he was like, this is a great record, I want to do it. And he came out of retirement to do it, and we were like, fuck, like we were very happy, like, that he jumped on it, because he's my favorite producer, so having him, and then JF going from the 6 to 7 string on this record, with him coming on board, now you got that guy that just knows how to mix a record, and now you got the big sound that is coming together, and I think the record sounds really, really good, and the Killshot is a track that I think has a global feel of everything Kataklysm is about, as far as like, it's got the blast beats, it's got the grooves, it's got the melodic part, it got the acoustics, got a bit of everything, right? But it doesn't necessarily, it doesn't necessarily bring out the entire record out.
Okay.
It's not like you listen to this song and that's it, you got the record. It's not like that.
Okay.
I know that back in the day there was some bands you just pressed one song and the whole record's the same, right?
Yeah.
Well, this is not like that. This record has its moments where you're going into a more dramatic feel, more melodic feel, but then there's moments in it that are even more extreme than Killshot. So you have a variety of the record that moves, some stuff could actually compete with some Swedish bands. It's so melodic.
Okay.
Fast-paced thrash, and so you have an extreme angle, and then you have another angle that's worked in a more groove, melodic, aspiring type of Kataklysm. So it flows extremely well.
Okay.
Right? If you press play and you're done with the record, by the end you're like, man, I got to do this again, because it's just the way it comes together. It's already done, but the record's like 40 minutes. So, and it's like I said, it's every song stands on its own.
Yep.
But it's a very diverse record. From, let's say, there's a song that starts with a piano. So it's like, Icarus Falling. It's like piano, dramatic, like you're like, what the fuck's going on, But then it goes into like intensity. So that's the thing. It's like, it's an emotional ride, the record, I find. They're very aggressive. It's one of the most aggressive records we've written in a very, very, very long time. It has that Serenity and Fire type of feeling to it, and then it has In the Arms of Devastation, and then it jumps into like a bit of Ghosts and Gods. So it's like a little bit of this big mix.
What an album!
Yeah, so
Ghosts and Gods, man, shit.
Yeah, that was a big record for us. Yeah. So it's like it's going into that world, right? So I'm very confident about it.
All right, wonderful. I can't wait for it, man. I'm so excited and so stoked.
Cool. We're releasing a new single soon, so that's coming out.
Yes. And I want to say thank you again to Nuclear Blast for sending me the Killshot, just putting it out there. I feel so privileged, and wow, thank you too, man. But carrying along with the questioning, the questions. Blake Armstrong, right? He's another returning name to Kataklysm.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's done it again, man. Phenomenal and striking artwork. Okay.
Yeah.
Why now, after 10 years, does the Heart Beast return?
Well, Kataklysm is next year going to turn 30 years old. So the band's been around since I was in high school, and I was 16 when I started the band. So math, I'm like getting up there, and it's like it's one of those. It's a long time, and we thought that it would be the perfect time if we're going to do it. This is the time to bring him back to life, because it represents a lot Kataklysm in one of its glorious moments. When In the Arms of Devastation came out, it was one of our biggest selling records ever. And the Beast has this thing where it represents good and evil, the good and bad side of men, and I like the fact that this ongoing battle going on in society today, and I think that represents it well. Also, the statement that it's unconquered comes with the 30th anniversary of the band that's coming, that the band's still here after 3 decades, strong and still surviving everything, so it's like we feel very happy about the whole thing, and it's like it just made sense. And then the cool thing is we wanted him real. Like if we're going to bring him back, I don't want him as a cartoon, right?
Yeah.
I want him like, he works with DC Comics too, does a bunch of stuff. So he's a very good artist, and he was able to bring it to life, the right way. And he had ideas of doing some backgrounds. And then I was like, nah, man, I just want him. Just like that. Clean. Yeah, just like that. Yeah.
All right, man. Dude, it is absolutely, it's amazing. When I saw it the first time, I was like, what? It is absolutely well done. Well done. And kudos, man.
Oh, thank you so much, man.
Just looking at the time. Okay, so before we say our goodbyes, right? Let me mention the following. Knowing that Kataklysm has such a special connection with South Africa, one that brought us 2 tours, a song, a music video. The words I want to say is soul destroyer, right? Yeah. I know things are currently up in the air, and the question really is, are there any thoughts of Kataklysm returning to South Africa for more neck-breaking infused inspirations?
To me, South Africa remains one of the most incredible experience of my life as far as a musician, coming down all the way down there and performing with you guys and hanging out with you guys, and just like the experience was great, about the culture, about everything. I really enjoyed the 2 times that I went there. It's the tough business, right, to get down there to do it. Obviously, being one of the first bands to do it out of the Canadian thing, coming down there, we really would love to come back. Anytime that we would get an opportunity to come back, we will. Right now, it doesn't look like there's much going on as far as concerts out there to go down there. But if anybody would ever, take the, have the balls to bring us back, we're ready. We love South Africa. We love the fans there. Both times we played were fantastic, and we did the video because we were so inspired by the culture over there and everybody, and we just decided it was the right thing to do. And I flew the guy from Los Angeles with us over there to film everything. So it was, to me, it was a great experience. I even brought my wife there with me the last time I went, and she stayed with me. Went to Cape Town and visited a bunch of stuff, and we just love it over there. And if we get the chance, you can count on us wanting to come
that's
back.
Great. I'll keep you to your word, and I'll speak to a few people. Maybe you never know. There's some people hungry for international acts to come back, and especially Kataklysm, man. Freaking out, 2 tours already, Witchfest, and then an individual one. It's it was 2. Obviously I'm in Johannesburg, so I saw the shows up here with
I like it over there too. Yeah, it was awesome.
And it's absolutely brutal. Thank you again. So lastly, for now, considering we'll bring you back to South Africa.
Yes.
In a country with so much passion for metal, right, and overflows with talent, what would be your best advice for upcoming metal bands and artists here in South Africa at the tip of the planet, almost?
Well, I can relate a little bit to South Africa because coming from Canada when I started the band, we were kind of the black sheep of the North American peninsula, because well, not peninsula, like the North American continent, because we had to work harder to get noticed to the Americans,
Okay.
Because everything that when you coming out of the US, it's easier to sell. So for Canadian bands it was harder. So you have all these bands that come out that like Devin Townsend and Voivod and Gorguts, Cryptopsy. We all have to work extra hard to get noticed, right? So you have to be your biggest critic. That's number one. You got to know that you can compete, with all the best out there. If you feel that you got that, and that people, and also listen to what people say around you, because they're also going to be the ones to criticize you, So they have to have a certain truth to it somehow. But you have to be the hardest. You have to be visual. You have to be how do you call it? You have to be the visibility has to be there.
Okay.
So you have to make sure that people can see you. So right now, like we were talking before, it's all online. So you need to have a lot of visibility online. And you have to go and really follow a lot of the bands that are doing well and follow what they're doing and like their stuff and just look and see and like you participate.
Yeah.
It's all about participation, you know, and that's how you're going to get noticed out there. You know, labels right now are not signing bands just like the old days, like how we got signed. Our demo just mysteriously ended up on the desk of the dude from Nuclear Blast. He was in his face.
What is this tape cassette?
Yeah, exactly. Now it's like, you know, they'll watch a video. The video's got some hype. You're getting signed.
Yeah.
So it's a completely different ballgame. You know what I mean? So, well, so right now it's all about how you perceive your career.
Okay, wonderful, great stuff. Wise words, man. Wise words coming from Maurizio, which is your band turns 30 next year, man. Yeah, it is amazing. Well done. 30.
Well, we're still not there, right? We still gotta wait, you know. Hopefully,
look, there's a brand new album to tour in due time, so no, you'll definitely see 30. Maybe let's say 35. I'm sure.
What we're gonna do is, you know, after, you know, we're gonna do this big milestone first. We'll try and tour the world for it because it's an important thing. We want to celebrate that, and then you know, then we take it one record at a time after that. You know what I mean? And we keep doing what we do. And I got my other band also, XDEO, that I'm working on and pushing that, and that's gonna come up with a new record as well. So we just do what we do, you know.
Okay, so basically you have just answered one of my listeners' questions that I asked last night on one of my Monday Night Metal Madness show. I asked one of my dedicated listeners, listen, is there any question for Maurizio? And that was actually one of his questions, is that what is happening with XDEO, and is there any new albums coming out from that side of things?
Right. Well, we were supposed to start writing next year, but because of what's going on and everything got canceled, all our festivals, everything got pushed. So basically what we're doing now is we're doing we just started finishing writing the record. We're 3/4 in right now. Okay. And then it's going to come out. We're going to record it next month in September. And then it's going to come out early next year somehow. I think early spring next year is the plan. And it's based on Emperor Nero. It's called the 13 Years of Nero. Okay. And it's going to be like really twisted, dark. It's evil. It's really
nice.
Evil.
The way it should be.
Yeah. It's gonna be the twisting stuff. So I'm looking forward to it. So that record, I'm very happy with how it's coming together. So we're gonna record it in September.
Wonderful, awesome. Well, Paul Jeffrey, there you go. That's your answer, my friend. Thank you so much for tuning in, my friend. I want to say thank you so very much. This has been an absolute honor, and I appreciate it, and thank you for it.
Oh, thank you, man.
What's the time? It is currently what you are in Florida, so that's 9 hours behind South Africa. It's 12:30 here a.m.
Oh, it's 6:25 right now.
6:25. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's only 6 hours.
In the evening.
It's only 6 hours. Okay, I had my math wrong. I was speaking to one of my listeners earlier tonight, and he's in California and Nevada. And he said
they're 9. They're 3 more hours. So they're 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's amazing how big the time zones are, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. Sure.
Mauricio, thank you so much. I want you to have a wonderful evening.
All right, thank you.
I'll definitely take the opportunity again to speak to you. You're such a kind guy, and straight down to earth, man.
Yes, but you too. So I want to thank you because there's not a lot of people doing what you do in South Africa also to push the word out and doing all this stuff. So I really appreciate that. Keep doing what you do, and then whenever you have some stuff, we'll share it, and we'll support you guys like we're always done.
Thank you so very much, man. And I'd like to give a special shout out to Nuclear Blast, Kataklysm, obviously, and then also the man that got all this done, Devo from man, from Devographic.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I'll catch you on the flip side.
All right, brother.
All right.
Thank you.